Okay, we're back. Alright. Put this here. That goes there. Yes. Welcome. Is anyone here? I don't know. Welcome. Welcome to today's stream, this week's stream, I suppose. Just let me tweak the levels and everything here. I'll get rid of this and this. Okay. Here. Right there. Perfect. I looked at the webcam footage and I was like, why is it darker than usual? Then I remember that time passes. And 6 p.m. is darker at certain times of the year. That's what we got. Okay, we're capturing the right monitor. That's good. That's good news. Our audio is there. No dropped frames. Okay. Okay. I think we're all right. Welcome to the stream. Quick note. We might be, I'll know by next week or in a few days or something, but we might be changing the day of the week when we do the streams. Still undetermined. It just depends on work. Just depends on my work, that's all. So if 6 p.m. on Tuesday suddenly becomes, I'm unavailable for that time, then we'll switch to a different day. Probably the same time of the day. That's all. So I'll put an update, or I'll just mark it on the next scheduled stream, but it'll probably be starting next week, just so you know. Cool. All right. Awesome. We're good to go. All right. Well, I'll just hang out for a little bit and chat. I always do, but the topic. Today's stream is pitching ideas for shows, for cartoons. For one thing, I just think it's fun. There are a handful of other internet people, streaming type people, who have done similar things before. Obviously, I just think it's a neat idea. It's a fun, like, collaborative thing. So it definitely works best if we have a lot of people kind of chipping in and offering their 2 cents or their own little ideas for characters or premises. Is it premises, even when we're talking about, like, premise of a show as opposed to the physical premises of a building or something? Either way. So we're going to try to do some of that. We'll see. We'll see if people are into the idea or not. I can try to get my... I'm also trying to get the old gas-powered iPad hooked up here. So if the spirit moves me, I can draw some of the great characters that we come up with. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it was kind of a coincidence too. This just went up like today, I think. Checked the site before I went live here. And this is pitch reviews, which I don't think I've ever seen them do before. They probably have, I just haven't paid attention to it. So that was kind of funny. Looking at pitches for shows. We don't tend to see them very often as, like, the general public, I don't think. I do remember something that Cartoon Network used to do a billion years ago, which was the thing where they, I think it was Cartoon Network, right? Is that where Teenage Robot was? And other things? But there was a thing, I don't know if it was a Sweeps Week thing or what, but Cartoon Network did a thing for a while, where they just said, like, oh, here are, like, pilots, basically, for 2 or 3 new shows. And I think they even said, like, you can vote on this stuff. Like, you can vote on which show will actually get greenlit. I don't know if that was real or not. Also, welcome, Ugo. How's it going? Good to see you. Good morning to you as well. Let me see if I can find anything about that. Oh yeah, cartoons. My Neighbor Was a Teenage Robot. That was, well, also Teenage Robot was a Nick show, so that completely destroys what I was trying to get to. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to find this live. Yeah, I'm not gonna find this right now, but if anyone knows anything about that. Also, thank you, Ugo, for clarifying that Teenage Robot was Nick, which makes sense given like the tone of it and even the look of that show. It feels more Nickelodeon than Cartoon Network, at least for that time in the history of both companies. So maybe it was Nick that did that, and there were other shows where they were like, "Here are the pilots. What do you like? Which are the good ones you want to vote for?" I don't know, but I remember something like that at the time. Maybe they were lying about us children viewers getting to vote on which ones actually made it, but they tried it, I guess. Anyway, Cartoon Forum 2023. Okay. A horse named Steve. For a preschool audience. Probably not any of us here. Iki and Aylin. Ages 6 to 9. Again, not really our wheelhouse. What's up, Isha, for preschool? Wow, preschool. I mean, that's where the money is, right? Right? Masha? Is it Masha and the Bear? Coco Melon? Preschool shows can be extremely profitable. Pixie Pollux looks a little bit older in terms of audience. Yeah, young adult audience. There you go. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh. Documentary series. That's Pixie. That's Happily Never After. Oh, okay. So what was Pixie Pollux? Oh, that's also for young adults. Okay, similar vibe, similar audience for these. I don't know if you're allowed to just do the Cheshire Cat again. That seems a little... yeah. But yeah, look how edgy this one is here. Crazy stuff going on in this little image. I mean, do their characters designs remind you at all of Allegria or the corporate Memphis art style that's been popular for many years now in like tech and advertising and stuff? They do to me a little bit, just with how like flat and wide and clearly geometrical a lot of the heads are. Make fairy tale great again. Is it supposed to be incorrect grammar? Turn down my headphones a little bit. Cool. Ugo says, with that being said, I think Rob Renzetti is the guy that made it to the guy who made it. Teenage Robot did pitch it to Oh Yeah Cartoons. Gotcha. Also says Renzetti did work on Powerpuff Girls with Craig McCracken. There you go. Yeah, Oh Yeah Cartoons was a whole thing of its own. Oh look, a Fjallraven bag. Is that how it's pronounced? So you got here's some pitches. I don't know if I want to read through all these, but I like seeing the imagery for each one. And the country of origin for each project as well. Czech Republic and Germany. What a collab. In Canada. Well, as we know, Canada has a very strong history with collaborating on animated projects. They collaborated on a bunch of Australian television productions, as well as American stuff has been animated in Canada. A very rich history with animation. But of course, the other big thing that really caught my eye in the last few days and when it got my mind on the whole thing, the whole idea of pitches and such, is this, which is not necessarily recent news, but this is the SpongeBob Pitch Bible. This is a little, I wish they had Pitch Bible in here, but it has been uploaded fairly recently, and by that I mean I think within the last couple of years, although I'm not seeing offhand when it was uploaded to Internet Archive here. But either way, what is all this junk? Anyway, SpongeBob SquarePants typing, I'm actually interested in that. Either way, this is very good. This is very, very good, and I want to flip through it with you folks as well for a little while here. because I love it. I just looked at this earlier today. How to look at this stuff, and I really enjoy it. And I'll get to this in a minute, but I'm also very I'm very surprised by how relatively minor a lot of the tweaking was from some of these initial pitched concepts and characters to the finished product. There are indeed changes, but usually, at least from what I've seen in the past, changes from initial pitch to development and then actual production are pretty substantial a lot of the time. And in this case, not so much. Although one thing you'll notice very early on in this pitch Bible here is, as far as I know, let me double check on this, but yeah, Sponge Boy. SpongeBob is referred to as Sponge Boy throughout the pitch Bible, whereas here it's already SpongeBob. See, what's going on there? What is the situation? Also, those elf shoes are very fun. But we'll get to it. We'll dig into some of this just for kicks, but I've really been enjoying it. Hugo says, it kind of looks like Arlo the Alligator Boy. I'm assuming you're one of these guys. This one here. Or this one here. I would think more so Happily Never After. Let's at least read the pitch for this one. The mockumentary format marries with animation and the experimental Happily Never After. The series follows a documentarian as he chronicles the lives of fairy tale creatures in the modern day. These beings have been cast to the margins of society due to their outdated ideals, and the show aims to look at how we treat those who don't suit societal norms. The show's 2D models are imposed on top of live-action backgrounds, allowing for the emulation of handheld camera movements, which mockumentaries often use to great comedic effect. Much of the show's comedy also comes from the absurdity of the central characters. One episode follows Baba Yaga, the child-eating witch from mythology. After consuming a TikToker... Music lined up perfectly. After consuming a TikToker who is live streaming her vile act, she lands herself in hot water and must testify in court. Each episode follows a different fictional character adapting to modern life. Whether it's a dwarf looking to break into Hollywood or an anxiety demon getting anxiety itself, oh my goodness. Happily Never After simultaneously achieves absurdity and social commentary. New ground there. Never happened before. Look, Mickey Mouse is on this lady's shirt. This Baba Yaga? Mickey Mouse. So they have some stuff to say. Sorry, I immediately became cynical about this pitch. And I'm sure this is just the site, summarizing the whatever footage they saw. But TikTokers? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Oh boy, just an iPad, I guess. I don't know. I don't know about that. But yeah, I mean, I don't have anything that's aimed at like very small children. I don't think there's usually a lot of potential for crossover into adult-friendly animation. Maybe stuff aimed at kids like 10 and older have a much better chance of getting the attention of us grown-ups, such. But yeah, Ugo says, sounds like a capitalism hellhole for just like the tone that this show is trying to strike. Yeah, it just comes across as a little bit too immediate, a little bit too relevant for what I usually tend to like. Because that also tends to make stuff very disposable. Within a few years, it just feels like, oh, that's outdated. But who knows? I mean, I don't know if there's a way for us to actually watch these pilots. That would be a lot of fun, but I get the sense that not. I think it was part of the big conference festival thing, and that's all we get. So anyway, but yeah, I don't know if I want want to see that one. I also don't know where a show like this would actually wind up in terms of like American television or streaming services. It doesn't seem like the kind of thing that Adult Swim would pick up, honestly. And outside of Adult Swim, where do you go? HBO Max? Maybe? I don't know. It might feel... It is Baba Yaga, by the way. That might feel... I don't know. If Max, as we must call them now, I guess. They seem to pick up stuff that's very well curated generally. And then a handful of things that they just have because of the connection to Adult Swim, and the quality is up for grabs, I guess. There you go. Anyway, pitches need to look at. But yeah, let's look through the SpongeBob pitch Bible a little bit. Just for kicks. Still can't explain the deviation here. Why it's SpongeBoy for most of it, but then SpongeBob already for the covers and everything. All right, but yeah, 97. Steven Hillenburg is signing the thing throughout and has credits, or for the pitches for initial episodes and stuff too. So that's just that's what they're going with. So this is fascinating right away. They basically turned this into I mean, we were just talking about mockumentary style stuff. They turned this into essentially a fake document of the underwater exploration required to discover SpongeBoy in the first place. Let's just blow this up, right? Make it even. And that's about the best we're gonna get. Hopefully that's clearly visible. Turn the music down a little bit. Okay. Oh, I can just, oh, wow, Internet Archive. Very fancy. Okay, anyway, so yeah, they try to set this up as like, and obviously there's a connection in the Finnish show itself too. Oh, here's the camera crew that's like documenting this whole thing, although they show up relatively rarely, at least in the early seasons, as far as I've seen. But yeah, so they're like, oh, we discovered SpongeBoy. It's an incredible find, and this is sort of documenting our journey. The other organisms we also discovered on this expedition. Very fun idea. And I also really like the idea that because this is the late 90s, this was 100% a physical document, like a little printed booklet. And my goodness, can you imagine if this little pitch Bible ever made it to market, like for an auction or something like that? Boy, I imagine there were only just like a handful of these that they made for whatever pitch meeting, hand out to people, and that's it. I don't know. And as is noted at the bio at the very end, Steven Hillenburg was, of course, already working at Nick because he had a pretty prominent role behind the scenes for Rocko's Modern Life. So I assume that there are certain opportunities within Nickelodeon, at least at the time, of just like, oh yeah, if you want to pitch stuff, go for it. Or maybe they set up a special meeting. Either way, I love the idea of having these as physical printouts. And how fun they made it. Lots of effort. I guess we shouldn't be surprised since it's a bunch of creative people behind the scenes here. But so fun, and especially little doodles. I don't know if we could necessarily call this kind of stuff like concept art. That would probably be a little too lofty. This is the concept art adjacent stuff over here, where we get a sense of art direction, atmosphere, vibe, all that stuff. But just these tiny little doodles I really, really love. And this was not the kind of stuff that I used to care about at all as a kid. I don't I don't know if some of you guys experienced this too, but there were certain shows or video games, if you had the DVD, if you had the disc, you would pop it in, and some of the special features would be like, oh, look, you can unlock the concept art. You can take a look at still images of the concept art for the show, or like the storyboards or something like that. Never cared. In particular, I remember for the video game version of Lord of the Rings Return of the King, that was one of the things you could unlock, was concept art for the game, and never did it for me. I never had any interest in that. But nowadays, it is completely flipped. I love looking at concept art, and I love looking at storyboards for animated shows and movies. And and been hunting around for different storyboard collections for specific things. Either way, I love seeing these little doodles. Obviously, generally off model because they're not meant to be, finished work. But just lovely. Just fun to see, and you immediately get a sense for the tone of the show, which is the whole point. Although this is maybe a little scandalous for the SpongeBob that we actually ended up getting completed form. But even this is so funny to me, seeing this stuff right here, because of course these translated into episodes and specific shots and moments from those completed episodes. Wild to me. Again, that it was so fully formed, seemingly, right out of the gate. So yeah, but let's see. I don't want to read the whole thing. That would be way too long and probably very boring. But I do want to read a few selections throughout the pitch Bible here. I just find it fun. They're actually kind of well written, and it also tells you a lot about the landscape of children's animation in the late 90s, and how Hillenberg and whoever else was helping him put this together were really trying to set the show apart and say, oh, here's why it's going to be successful. Like, this is why it's unique within the contemporary landscape. And also there's a section we'll get to later that talks about, like, here's why kids will like this, which is very funny. It's not based on any kind of data or interviews or tests or anything like that. He was just saying, oh, I think kids will like it for these reasons. And ultimately he was probably right. I also appreciate that he crosses his sevens like I do. What is SpongeBob's attitude? Much of what we've observed has shown that SpongeBob is optimistic. This trait is not to be taken lightly. There is a plethora of wisecracking, cynical, glib cartoon characters out there hitting each other on the head and pushing each other into wheat shredders. SpongeBob is not one of them. He is truly an optimist, a guy who can't help but look on the bright side, whose positive energy transforms the way we look at things, helping us find the irony in even the dullest of life's details. A little bit much like marketing copy, but again, trying to set it apart as something different, which works in this case because it actually was. They actually satisfied all these, or most of these promises that they were making. Anyway, but yeah, I'll just look at a couple other things in here. But highly recommend taking a look at the Pitch Bible on your own. It's here on the Internet Archive. You can find it very easily. Anyway, but how's everybody doing? How are you doing, Ugo? How's your week been so far? What is it, Tuesday? Yes, that's when I stream. Yeah, it's been a week for me, I'll tell you that. But yeah, things have been good. Watching anything lately? Even YouTube videos or new shows and stuff? Watching more of the One Piece live action? Anything like that? Okay, what else we got here? And also messing around with, like, just historical photos. Which reminds me very much of, don't think I have it nearby. Lemony Snicket released the unauthorized autobiography at some point. Or I guess maybe it was technically written by Daniel Handler. But similar vibe of just taking real stuff, real documents, real photos of things, but then turning them into lore for your fictional universe. Very fun idea. I find that interesting, and just plain entertaining. So there's that. But yeah, there a lot of that happening here before it gets into sort of the more serious, just straight up pitch stuff. Ugo says, I saw the new TMNT and the movie 3,000 Years of Longing. Okay, yeah, I think we had at least mentioned 3,000 Years of Longing on here before. I can't quite remember. I haven't seen it. And yeah, I haven't seen the new TMNT movie either, but I would be very interested to hear some of your thoughts on it so far. Style looks great, obviously. I think that's what a ton of people have been talking about with it. But I don't know. I just haven't made it down to the movie theater. Here you go. A lot of the basic sets. We call them sets. But these look very much like the finished product, at least to me. Did they add one more window? SpongeBob's Pineapple, I'm just going off of memory here. Obviously, a slight change to Squidward's home. Just some really quick sketches, I guess, of, you know, the overall style, I guess, or what we could expect to see in the show's environments. I like that they call it SpongeBob's quarters here, sticking with the nautical theme through and through. And again, stuff that we would end up getting. We got birds, bird clams, clam birds, either way. I guess we technically had shell phones at some point, right? Paddle bike. Would we call that iconic? Gary's here from the start. Spelling of the Krusty Krab did change. It's like, what is this? Like a postcard or something that they've painted over? This is funny. There's another image of the Krusty Krab here. Well, this has K's for one thing. But later on in the Pitch Bible, they have a version that just looks like a tiki bar. It looks completely different. This looks very close to the finished product as well. Also, decided it was the home of the Barnacle Burger. They did not stick with that, obviously. Here's a very stout Squidward tentacles. Also played the oboe. Just, again, just tiny, tiny changes. And you wonder why they made all those changes. Patrick, oh, how wonderful to be introduced to Patrick. Sandy Cheeks, by the way, in this read-up, I won't go through the whole thing, but they were essentially pitching Sandy as SpongeBob's significant other, or at least like romantic interest, which, I mean, that's definitely not the image I have of them now at all. I feel they're just buddies, basically. They don't really have a lot of romantic connection or pursuit at all. So interesting, though. That's yet another one of the small changes here. Mr. Krabs counting money on the toilet. That's great. Plankton. I like Plankton's driver's license over here. Almost looks like a meme of its own. Oh, this is great. I'll read a little bit from about what kids would think. Hugo says it was a good movie, but I will not watch Aging. It's not like The Last Wish. The kids are young. They say they're at 15, which makes them on the younger teenage years, but they are very, very annoying because they're kids. Are you saying that for the turtles themselves? That's around the age they're supposed to be? Or are you saying those are the people in the theater who are making the movie more annoying to watch? I would believe either one, honestly, or both. But yeah, anyway, so they think SpongeBob is an unwitting anarchist. His creative spirit, original thought, and incurable optimism make him a standout, a renegade, and a hero. He prefigures cool because he's reinventing the meaning of the word, which to our minds makes him very, well, cool. Great. Great. And then here, pitches for pilots. Which is, I mean, look, we recognize all of this. Employee of the month, Bubbles, Patrick working for the Chum Bucket. He sort of does here and there. Cast, there you go. Here's Mr. Steven Hillenberg at the time, looking very dapper. But you know, these, yeah, some of this like concept art stuff or roughs or whatever we want to call them, I would put these up on the wall, you know? Like if I could get a nice high-res image of some of these, I think I would stick to it. And again, yeah, like this is a vastly different look for the Krusty Krab. Much groovier kind of environment for sure. Anyway, so there we have it. That's part of what got me thinking about doing some of the pitch stuff. But now I'll have to try to, I guess, come up with things of my own. It's going to be a real challenge. So let's see. Yeah, pull up Notepad here real quick. Their Notepad ready to go. Perfect on the screen. Ugo said, I saw it on streaming. It's on Paramount Plus, so no kids in the theater. Okay. I am not going to the theater to watch a kids movie. Oh, okay. All right. I mean, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, it really has to be, it has to cross the line for, it has to be something that seems very plausibly for adults for me to check it out. So pretty much every Pixar movie is safe. I'm okay with going to the theater to watch that kind of thing, even on my own, although that's not preferable. I did bring a friend along for the Mario Brothers movie because that so much just seemed like a straight up kids movie, and it was. But I don't know. Yeah, if it was something that really seemed like it was for little kids, I would probably not be going to the theater. The Paw Patrol movie, for example. I'm not commenting on the potential quality of that movie upon release, but it just doesn't seem like the kind of thing where I would really benefit by going to the theater or really from watching it at all. But I don't want to be too unfair. Maybe the Paw Patrol movie will be excellent. I did go to the theater for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, of course. I might have mentioned that in the video, but that made sense to me. Like there was so much there, even just on the surface, that clearly appealed to adult, not just adult audiences, just any audiences that are not kids as well. That made sense in my mind. But yeah, anyway, I get it. I get it. But I do not have Paramount Plus, as far as I know. Through anybody else's sign-ins or anything, so I will probably not be watching it, but who knows. I am so interested in the style for sure, but yeah. Okay, all right. Well, I wish I had more time to come up with pitch ideas of my own, but here we are. The rubber's hitting the road. And I'm not, Ugo, if you have stuff, feel free to shout it out. If anybody else is here right now, I'm not looking at the stats. Feel free. Shout out ideas for characters, adaptations, story premises, stuff like that. And we'll see what we can do with them. Otherwise, it's going to be me frantically trying to think of things live, which will maybe be entertaining in its own way. But yeah, I did not. I've just been working all day. So I wasn't exactly typing up little pitch ideas for shows. But I feel like we really need to start with something grounded. We need to start with, like, the look of a character or their situation. I don't want to get into tone and vibe and more abstract stuff like that. I don't think that's helpful to lead the pitch. And then I'll also try to, if I have any ideas that sound even partway interesting, I'll try to get the iPad to show up here and do some very quick sketches or something. Might be a train wreck, but that's the fun. That's the fun of streams. That's the fun of live TV, right? Also, I was immediately before starting the stream, I was like, okay, I have like 45 minutes where I don't need to work. I'll try to record some footage for videos. So right away, I got some footage for 2 different videos I want to work on. So if it sounds a little bit like my voice is gone, it's because I've been talking for a lot longer than it would appear. We've been going for a while. All right. Ugo says Sandy Cheeks is from Grand Prairie, Texas. I wonder if they knew it was a real place before they put it in the show. Good question. I would kind of assume, I don't know. I feel like I have heard that name before, although I've never visited there before. And I can also see them not wanting to pick like a big city in Texas if they were trying to use something from real life. That's just a different vibe. You wouldn't want that. You want like relatively small town Texas, right? Ugo says, what age market are you thinking about? Good question. And Ugo also says, I would like maybe like TV 14. How about that? Not a bad place to start. Age rating. Yeah. TV 14. Or what do they call it? TV 14 plus? Something like that. I'm fine with that. Format, let's say like short. So it's not a big well, I was thinking 11-minute show like some of the Adult Swim stuff, but let's do 20 minutes, so a half-hour show. That's fine. That's the standard for so many animated shows. What else we got here to call out right at the beginning? Age range, format. Am I immediately contradicting myself? Would it be good to have a general vibe here? I'm worried if I say it should be a comedy, then our ideas have to be funny. That's a lot of added pressure. But if we say that, if we go for like strict adult animation, then it could be a comedy, or it could be like a more serious thing, like BoJack Horseman or some of the more dramatic animated stuff. Ugo says the high school mascot for Grand Prairie, Texas is a gopher, a blue one. There's two, one that looks mean and one that looks goofy. It's weird that they have two. Are they like doppelgangers or something, or relatives? Maybe they're twin gophers. Do we steal that? Do we work on a gopher? Okay, hang on. Okay. Just a pun? I don't know if that's how they spell it. But do you know what I mean by this? Do you know the slang? Okay, so... or give him a different first name, but I'm thinking our character is an intern. He's an intern at maybe well, no, it's not too real world setting, but a somewhat serious like entertainment company or something like that. We're getting a little bit meta with this one. But yeah, gophers are like slang. I don't know how it's spelled with the slang, but it's slang for people who, interns or PAs or something who they're kind of low on the totem pole. And so they're part of their job is just running to get stuff. They go for coffee, and whatever else the rest of the team needs. But I kind of like this. I think there's some amount of potential there. Let's just be super safe and conservative and say dramedy. Blue, and we don't want to steal the colors you just mentioned here for the high school mascots. You go for this. I wish if there's another first name that blends really well with a gopher pun, I'm on board. But at the moment, nothing's really coming to me. Yeah, let me grab a color real quick for this guy. Nothing very realistic. We don't want a realistic. Also, what does a gopher look like? I have no idea. Okay. Put this up on the screen. I know green's a bad color for this. Purple go. Okay. Alright. The most basic shapes. Cool. Let's see. What else can we... Yeah, what else? What other information should we put here at the pitch? 19 years old, young and hungry, looking to move up in the world, get the career kick-started. I'm fine with that. Talented baker. They look like a beaver, but without the tail. Well, wait until you see the wonderful sketch that I've hashed out here so far. I need some kind of reference for I Gopher. Uh-oh, I'm gonna sneeze. I apologize. Okay. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Well, it's not a horror series, so I don't know if we're gonna use that exactly as our inspiration. But wowzers, that is something. Um, oof, bad, bad, bad. This is all bad. Yeah, I might have to start over here. Pencil's fine. Okay, what do you got, Ugo? We need at least 4 people. Okay, for like the main ensemble, the main cast. Use the mascot for Granbury High School. Well, we can't steal it. Let's see. High school. Oh my god. I like this version and that version. I don't like whatever the heck this is. Yeah, this just looks like Chip and or Dale. So there's that. I also feel weird now looking at someone else's high school that I didn't go to. Like, but blue is, yeah, blue's not, you know, it's not a bad color. What we're doing here. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can apply all these great YouTube drawing lessons that I've been watching over the last few hours. Well, listening to, I guess. What do you think? Generally happy character? Like, also, yeah, if you have ideas for, how about, how about this note? Mistakenly upbeat. If you have ideas for the other sort of like, you know, side characters, I hate how I, as soon as I put these headphones on, I hate how I look. Just yell at me if the audio gets really bad, and I'll fix it. It changes to a terrible song all of a sudden, you just let me know. Okay, yeah, so we need some others. Characters. We've taken on quite a project here, haven't we? Go for the gopher. I'm assuming all animals, by the way. That's just kind of the default I've been thinking of so far. What do their ears look like? Very small, circular ears. Right? Right? Potentially chubby. Potentially chubby feels good. In concept. Gives us a nice, easy shape to work with. I feel like this is always the same shape that I use for hashing out character details. I do all the time. I mean, he could even be rounder, right? I also feel like they have those legs. Not gonna be able to pull that off right now. Let's do this real quick. Sorry, I have to put the iPad on the screen. Second. Okay. All right. How about all rat type? Okay, so like rodent, rodent style characters. Here, let me get the iPad up. Nope, not that. iPad. Yeah. What I want. Are you here? No? do I have to? Auto. I'm just got it. Yeah, I like the idea of all rodents, you know. And just a rat character in general, I think is a fun idea. But not a stereotypical rat, right? Not your average rat. Not Rizzo the rat, not the rats from that movie Ernest and Celestine. Now we're cooking. Now we're getting somewhere. Ah. This is a beautiful streaming setup. Look at how good we're doing here. Here he is. But not all from not all well-known rodents. Like maybe a capybara. Okay. Okay. I'm cool with that. Also, do gophers have whiskers? I know I was just looking at photos of gophers, but I've retained nothing. Whoops. Whoa. Too large a brush. Gopher. Smaller text. Go for the gopher. Obviously. Give him a really quick background. Not just floating in space. Beautiful. Lovely. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. He also needs a little bit of color to his body, just so we don't lose it. Grab that color, please. Where's the color picker? Later. Here you go, bud. Oh, he's perfect. Okay. Nice. Sketching. Look at this. Look at our incredible workflow. It's fine. We are losing. Pause here. What's we got? Okay. Okay. You know what? I don't know if I can draw it right now, but he also needs a hat. He desperately needs a hat. You can tell just by looking at him. He needs a hat. I don't know if I'll be able to move him properly. Let's try it though. Now we have to move his colors too. This. Boop, boop, boop. Perfect. Beautiful. Gopher. Okay. Backpack. Gotta have his backpack all the time. Suggestion. Pockets and such. Cool. Beautiful. Perfect. Cool. Alright. Got his little backpack. But I'm not getting much of the personality here so far. Very, very bad character design so far. Ugo says chinchilla pedites, which I've never heard of before, but I'm gonna go ahead and put them all down. I've heard of chinchilla. I have not heard of whatever this is. I hope it's a real animal. And then a capybara, which might be the right spelling. I don't remember. Okay. Female. That's a trait. Cool with that. Yep, that works. And do need the hat. Really do. Begging for a hat. See if I can draw a hat on command. Yeah, this. So I know I'm gonna hat. That'll be perfect. Okay. Okay. Oh. Yeah. I like the idea of covering the eye in general. I don't know if we could like justify giving a gopher hair, like be like other than its fur. I don't know if that would make a lot of sense, but I do like the idea in general. I shouldn't be using this pencil. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yep, so covering hat. Talkative. Find every hat. I mean, I immediately like Gopher a lot better. We need a new name, I've decided. Ugo says, I think the Gopher show, oh, we did that. Ugo says most shows still give hair on the top because it looks more human. Yeah, that's a good point. It's anthropomorphizing. I don't know if we have room for it. Maybe we could scooch the hat. Someone knocking on our door, is it? Oh, that's actually pretty good. Hey. I mean, I realize that this is just turning into me poorly drawing a character, but I'm still enjoying it just the same. And I feel like this is going to stretch on for a while, despite the fact that I'm tired. Let's get into it. Gloves are coming off. Bright pink hair. I mean, I know it's, you know, gender stereotype thing, but I think just the color. I'm also going to fix the rest of the character stuff, but but I'm going to go for some hair. Pastel pink, you know, nothing too crazy. About enough. Go. It would be better for the hair to just cover the eye, but ship has sailed. We're here now. Okay, doesn't it doesn't look like hair in the least in this style. So now go as long curious hair. Yeah, this is a whole thing now. Uh-oh, we're getting into it. Okay. Right. Not even I'm getting swept up in incredible design. Not even paying attention. Yeah. This looks a little goofy. Cotton candy hair. Maybe it's actual cotton candy, to be determined. That looks bad. That looks bad. Around here. Okay. Alright. Okay. Good enough for now. Let's see. Ugo says, should all four be female, like Kentuka and Birdie? Because I think that would be very hard. I mean, I don't. If we want to make that a special goal, we can. You know, I think that's fine. I'm not super worried about the genders of all the different characters right now. Energetic, but yeah, more so like character stuff or personality things. I still don't know what a Padites is. Tired and chill. Perfect. Okay. And Ugo also says, let's see, I think we should split it into 2 male, 2 female. Okay. So no, like, you don't want any non-binary characters in the mix here? Change things up? Yes. Yes. Also, are we okay with this music? What is this? N64 stuff? Guess it's okay. Alright. Wow, beautiful. Stunning. Oh my goodness, this is what my day is today. Alright. Oh. Let's carve this out a little. Some very basic monochromatic kind of shading and stuff. It doesn't look quite so flat. But while I'm doing this, yeah, we really need to hash out some worry stuff, I think. So go for, okay, so is it just a group of interns then? I assume that's been done before, but I'm not, I also don't get the sense that it's been overdone. I'm not, you know, it's not like a bunch of intern-based animated comedies are springing to mind as soon as I think of that concept. Plus. Very rough, but that's what we're doing. Okay. All right, here we are. Nudge this up a little bit. Okay. Again, bad, but, you know, for our purposes here, it's fine. Just some kind of sense of depth here. Oh my gosh. Okay. No, not smudge. Draw. Thank you. Yeah, the arm should have been a separate layer, but that's fine. There you go. Almost a sphere. Wow, look at this. Looks rough. Oh my gosh. Or dream. Perfect. Okay. Hugo says, like in Dead End Paranormal Park, Sure, but it'd be hard to write about it like we're both cis males. Oh, sure. I mean, I'm not, to be honest, I'm not planning to write the scripts for an entire show tonight. So I wasn't too worried about that. I was just wondering in terms of representation if that would be the smart move. Hugo says, in Danger and Eggs, they had a person near the end that they call them and they, well, there you go. See, this is progress now. This is how we need to move things forward, we need to have some kind of representation. But yes, it can get very hairy when people try to like assume, they can write a character that they can't identify with. It gets very messy. And some people have definitely made that mistake in the recent past. Okay. So she's a baker. That's kind of a hidden talent, though. That's not something she talks up. It's not on her resume or anything like that. But specifically, that's what she wants to do. She wants to make a show. It's a really harsh, like, intense reality show about baking macarons. And and no one cares. I mean, I would assume that like her friends would be supportive of her idea. But beyond that, I don't think she would even venture to try to pitch it to anybody. There you go. We're talking about pitching shows within a show that we're pitching. Very clever. I think it would just be too much, She wouldn't want to get into all that. She wouldn't want to make waves right out of the gate. We avoid that for now, but when she gets close to someone at the studio, it just comes out. She just starts talking about it every once in a while. If she really trusts somebody, she's like, okay, here's my thing. Here's my vision. And most people react not negatively necessarily, but probably with a lot of ambivalence. So if you remember from that one season of BoJack Horseman, where the Stephanie Beatriz character, secretly wants to sing in some of her roles, and she's like, I love that Korn musical from when I was growing up. I would love to do something with that. And everyone else is just kind of embarrassed for her. I'm getting that kind of vibe from the whole situation. Just some kind of space back here. Although it looks like a miserable day, the colors I've chosen here. Let me catch up real quick. Hugo says, I think the gopher should get a new job every few episodes, but don't show how she got fired. How about this? I'm keeping that, but I will tweak it to be so like she doesn't fit, not good at assignments, stuff like that. So like we're still in the same environment generally, but it's like different departments, it's different areas of this like studio or company or whatever it happens to be, where it's just not working out. it's just not working. She can't quite find the spot where she really where it really clicks with her. And obviously, because she's just an intern, she's not ready. She's not ready to be a showrunner or something like that. Nobody's going to give her that gig right out of the gate, For this, I just want to put some kind of buildings in the background or something to give us a sense of the campus. Oh, more blue. Why not? Blue, purple. No, thank you. Perspective thing. It all makes sense if you think about it. The building is far away and we're up close, so that's why she looks so big compared to this building. Okay. Beautiful. Anything that's not a character Feel relatively confident in drawing that. Here's their big sign that says something like, oh, it's there. Can't see it. Why would I switch to? I ran out of room. That's why. Fancy TV channel. This is their building. This is what they're up to over there. It's like big antennas and stuff that they have on their satellite dish. Cool. Cool, very cool. This is what I really excel at, is random junk on the roof of the building. Pretty good. Okay. Again, she's not a giant, although that would be a fun angle too. What else did Ugo say here? Dead End Paranormal Park, which I haven't seen. I haven't watched the second season of that yet. Made by Hamish Steele, stars a female to male guy. Yeah, trans character. I also Steele is also FTM trans as well. Yeah, I looked into it a little bit when I made my video about the first season of the show a million years ago. Haven't watched season 2 yet. It was one of those things where I did like the show itself, but it did feel a little young for me. It felt more tween centric, at least in terms of tone. I'm not saying the subject matter or like the you know, the writing is juvenile or anything, but yeah, it was just a little bit out of my range, I guess. But a cool show, kind of similar to Gravity Falls vibes in terms of like the paranormal aspects and just like kids going on adventures doing fun stuff, mixed with very mundane, weird things like just working at the amusement park. Those are not my favorite, but I kind of respect that they include those kinds of episodes. Where's my backpack layer? Add one here. I don't want our incredible backpack to get lost. And the backpack is more or less the same color as the hair, which definitely looks like hair. Okay. This. The overall composition is not really there. But Gopher is, and she's ready to take on the world. That's definitely how I see this. Yes, her hat needs to say something, obviously. Hat. Like a cool font. School. He has a lot of school spirit for alma mater. Hugo says, have you ever seen Tuca and Birdie? Birdie is always trying to do baking, but she does get her own little shop, but because it was too much, she starts to work for someone else. That's a fun angle to take instead of just like, oh, this character's dream came true, you know, and everything continued to go really well for them. I don't tend to connect with those stories very much personally. But yeah, I like the idea of, oh, like it, you know, I thought I would be into this and it's not a good fit, so I'm going to change my trajectory a little bit. That's very fun. But to actually answer the question, not really. I watched a handful of episodes of the show when it first came out, and part of that was just because, like, watching with friends, you know, visit a friend, they have Tuca and Birdie onto the house. And it's a very good show for that kind of setting, too. Like, it feels casual. It's nowhere near the tone of BoJack Horseman, obviously. It's much more loose, easygoing, and fun. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to get Gopher all in one piece here. and then hopefully move Gopher, but doesn't look like she's a giant who is for some reason blocking this building. Here you go. Oh, we need our backpack color too. Okay. Yeah. Not too bad. This. Oh. Really turned into me fumbling around on Procreate, but I guess that's always what it was destined to be, probably. Oh. Let's fill this in quick so now we can read the word TV as well. Very helpful. Cool. All right. I don't like this music. Hang on. What I can do. Why would you put Resident Evil music in one of these mixes? What is the plan there? Yeah, no, sorry, I don't like this. Better. Anyway, I don't know. For you, Ugo, how does Tuca and Birdie stand up in terms of just overall adult animation work? Like, I mean, obviously, as we just talked about, it's not really going for the same vibe as BoJack Horseman at all, even though obviously it was using a very similar art style. So, is it something that, uh, is it something you feel really exceeded at capturing its own like tone and atmosphere and everything, or did it not quite find its footing? And the only reason I would suggest that it didn't really find its footing is because of it was so short-lived, you know, relatively speaking, to BoJack or to plenty of other Netflix animated shows that have continued for quite a while. Yeah, but having never checked it out, I can't really speak to that stuff, you know. Nice. Now I'm just messing around. Sorry, but I should stop. Is what I should do. No, I'll think a little bit more about some of our the meat of the show itself. But I really do like that idea, Ugo, about like different settings and different jobs. You know, for either individual episodes or like every few episodes, it would change up. That's so much better than, at least in my mind, so much better than the standard kind of sitcom situation where it's just same setting pretty much every episode, same characters pretty much every episode, just not quite as interesting to me. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously we would have the consistency of the ensemble, and we would have the consistency of the character of Gopher herself, who looks fantastic, by the way. I promise you, the aspect ratio is a little bit different on the iPad as compared to how it's showing on the screen. So she's a little bit skinnier than what you're seeing. But even so, it is the most basic character design. We haven't even gotten her a mouth. Needs a mouth. Yeah, well, another time. Oh. Background detail. It's just like a fence or something. Or power lines. Kind of like that. Art. Pretty solid. Pretty solid overall. But yeah, let's see if there are any other details we could add to this whole thing. I don't know if I can tackle all the side characters today. That might just be way too much. I do like that we have a sort of suggestion for variety of personalities going on here. But beyond that, designs and stuff is just not going to happen. Just way too much. If the people end up clamoring for more, if they see the archive version of the stream and they're, oh wow, that was so good. Then we'll do more with that. But obviously, mostly focused on fleshing out Gopher the Gopher. Yeah. Hugo says, let's Puka and Birdie gets very real, like in episode 8, where Birdie reveals she was molested when she was a child. Yep, that is, yes, that is pretty real. Never watched BoJack, really? And Tuca and Birdie, I assume, had 3 seasons, but the 2 that were on HBO Max were taken down. Oh yeah, that was one of the ones removed, right? When they took down Summer Camp Island, I think that was one of the shows that suffered the same fate. Uh, Sucks. I do wonder if they'll ever decide to reverse course on that whole thing, and be like, yeah, that was a really stupid idea. Uh, just ignore that mouth in the back. It just seems like such an obviously bad idea. Yeah, big nose. I actually like that. That wasn't on purpose, but I kind of dig that. Yeah. And I don't know how we could visually communicate that she's really into macarons. I guess a shirt, perhaps? Check this. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. What do macarons look like? If anybody has that info, very helpful. You know what? Kind of like go for more and more. Just as we're hanging out here, kind of works. Pedites, if that's how it's pronounced, should be coded as a black person. Okay. They should be male to female trans. They should be very meek and not talk much. Should be a longtime friend of the Gopher, and Gopher will always stand up for her. Okay. Wow. There you go. So you had that stuff ready for the pitch here. I appreciate it. Yeah, why not? Sounds great. Um, yeah. Hmm. I don't want to just do text for everything. We'll write macarons. Beautiful. Wow. This has been a trip, but I think I might have to wrap up soon, just for the sake of my own sanity. But who knows? I don't know. I like the idea of pitching stuff, pitching new ideas, and developing them a little bit. So who knows? You know, Go for the Gopher might show up again in a future video or something, or just some kind of random write up of potential story ideas. I don't know. I don't know what context, but I do think there's some things to like here. But yeah, thank you so much, Ugo, in particular, for really helping me through this whole process. yeah, I don't know. This is something else we can try again sometime if people are into it, and if not, we'll abandon it forever. But there you have it. In the incorrect colors and the incorrect aspect ratio is a beautiful rendering. Go for the gopher. Getting ready for the very first day at the Fancy TV channel, where she will be trying and failing to do a number of different jobs, and keep an upbeat regardless. Just convinced that her macaron baking competition show will indeed come true someday. That it will become a reality, and that she'll be in charge and make a whole bunch of money from it. Cast of friends need a lot more work. Need to hash out those details. But otherwise, yeah, this has been pretty good. It's been fun. Except for my drawing abilities, which I still need to hash out. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. I need to make some dinner and all that stuff and do some work. But yeah, as always, thank you to anybody watching the stream live. Thank you to anybody watching the archive version later on. As I mentioned earlier, I have some upcoming videos that I have footage for. I just need to do all the editing and the rest of the stuff. So hopefully those will be up relatively soon. And then, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the stream, I will probably be changing the day of the week that we do streams. But, you know, if that happens soon, I'll let people know through a community post or just mention it in the, you know, the posting for the next stream. But yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks again to Ugo. Thank you to everybody else watching along. And yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for stopping by.